Alexander the Great. The name still echoes through history, resonating through the ages as a symbol of unparalleled ambition and military genius. A king of Macedon, he carved an empire stretching from Greece to Egypt and beyond, creating one of the largest empires of the ancient world. Born in Pella in 356 BC, Alexander was a prodigy, showing signs of greatness from a young age. His father, Philip II, was a powerful king, but Alexander dreamed of even greater things. He envisioned a world united under his rule, a vision that would drive him throughout his life.
I studied under Aristotle, the great philosopher, who taught me not only the arts of war, but also the sciences, philosophy, and ethics. His teachings ignited a thirst for knowledge in me, a desire to understand the world and its many mysteries. I devoured tales of heroes and gods, longing to leave my mark on the world, to be remembered as one of the greats.
At the age of 20, he inherited his father's throne and his ambition, ready to take on the world. Alexander swiftly conquered Greece, uniting the squabbling city-states under his banner, a feat that had eluded many before him. He then turned his gaze east toward the vast Persian Empire, a formidable adversary that had long been a thorn in the side of Greece. His victories were swift and decisive, showcasing his military prowess and strategic brilliance. He liberated the Greek cities under Persian rule and crushed the Persian army at the Battle of Gaugamela, a battle that would go down in history as one of his greatest triumphs. The Persian Empire crumbled before him, unable to withstand the might of his forces. Alexander became the master of Persia, adding its vast territories to his growing empire, but his ambition did not end there. He was driven by an insatiable desire to explore and conquer new lands. He looked east, toward the fabled land of India, a land shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors of riches beyond imagination. The tales of its wealth and exotic wonders fueled his determination to push further than any had before. Undeterred by the daunting challenges, Alexander led his army across the treacherous Hindu Kush mountains, a feat that tested the limits of their endurance and resolve. In India, he faced fierce resistance from local kings and warriors, but his tactical genius and the loyalty of his troops saw him through many hard-fought battles. One of the most notable encounters was with King Porus, whose bravery and skill impressed Alexander so much that he reinstated him as a ruler under his own empire. By the time of his death in 323 BC, Alexander's empire spanned 3 continents, a testament to his extraordinary vision and relentless pursuit of greatness. His legacy endures, not just in the vast territories he conquered, but in the cultural and intellectual exchanges he fostered, shaping the course of history for centuries to come. Even today, the echoes of Alexander the Great's conquests can be felt, a reminder of a king with a vision that changed the world forever. India, a land of mystery and exotic allure. Its vast landscapes, from the towering Himalayas to the fertile plains of the Ganges, have always captivated the imagination of those who hear of it. The vibrant colors, the rich traditions, and the profound spirituality of its people create an irresistible tapestry of wonder. For centuries, stories had filtered back west of its riches and philosophical wisdom. Tales of golden palaces, spices that could enchant the senses, and a wisdom that delved into the very essence of existence. These stories painted India as a land where the material and the spiritual intertwined in a dance of harmony. Alexander, ever the adventurer, was drawn to its promise. The allure of the unknown, the challenge of the unconquered, and the dream of adding such a jewel to his crown were too tempting to resist. His ambition knew no bounds, and India represented the ultimate prize.
I dreamed of reaching the edge of the world, of conquering the unconquerable. The thought of standing on the soil of a land so fabled, of achieving what no one before had dared, filled my heart with a fire that could not be quenched. But I also had more practical goals. The promise of wealth, the spoils of war, and the honor of serving under the greatest leader of our time. These were the things that drove me forward, step by arduous step. India was known for its elephants, formidable beasts of war that could turn the tide of battle. These majestic creatures, with their sheer size and strength, were unlike anything we had ever faced. They were both a symbol of India's might and a challenge we were eager to overcome. I craved these beasts for my own army, The thought of commanding such power, of having these giants at our side, was a tantalizing prospect. It was not just about conquest, it was about harnessing the very essence of India's strength.
He also sought to secure his eastern frontier and establish trade routes that would bring wealth to his empire. The riches of India, its spices, silks and precious stones, were treasures that could elevate his empire to unparalleled heights. Trade routes would not only bring material wealth, but also cultural exchanges that would enrich his realm. In 326 BC, Alexander set out from Persia with his army. The journey was long and fraught with challenges, but the promise of India kept their spirits high. Every step brought them closer to the land of their dreams. He crossed the Hindu Kush mountains, a treacherous journey through towering peaks and narrow passes. The harsh conditions tested their resolve, but Alexander's vision of India spurred them on. The mountains were a formidable barrier, but they were no match for the determination of Alexander and his men. His soldiers, veterans of countless battles, were pushed to their limits. The cold, the altitude, and the treacherous paths took their toll, but their loyalty to Alexander and their own dreams of glory kept them moving forward. They knew that beyond these mountains lay the land that had captured their imaginations.
Yet they followed their king, driven by his charisma and their own dreams of glory. Alexander's presence was a beacon of hope and inspiration. His vision of a united world, where East met West, was a dream they all shared. They believed in his destiny and were willing to endure any hardship to see it fulfilled.
Alexander's ambition was boundless, but he was not without compassion. He understood that true conquest was not just about defeating enemies, but also about winning hearts. His ability to show mercy and respect to those he defeated set him apart from other conquerors. He often showed mercy to defeated foes and sought to learn from the cultures he encountered. He believed that every culture had something valuable to offer, and he embraced the diversity he found. This openness to learning and adaptation was one of his greatest strengths. He believed in ruling through a combination of strength and diplomacy, a philosophy that would guide his actions in India. By blending the might of his army with the wisdom of the local traditions, he aimed to create a harmonious and prosperous realm. His vision was not just of conquest, but of a new world where different cultures could coexist and thrive together. The journey to India was fraught with peril. Alexander's army marched through scorching deserts and across raging rivers. The heat was relentless, sapping the strength of men and beasts. Supplies dwindled, morale wavered. They faced hostile tribes who harried their flanks with arrows and hit-and-run tactics.
Alexander, a master of strategy, adapted to this new type of warfare. He crushed his enemies with swift and brutal efficiency. He secured our supply lines and pushed onward, driven by his unyielding will.
The Indus River presented a formidable obstacle. It was wider and deeper than any river they had encountered before. Alexander's engineers built a bridge of boats, a marvel of ancient engineering. The army, along with its horses, elephants and supplies, crossed into India. They were entering a land unlike any they had seen before. In the heart of Punjab, a powerful king awaited Alexander's advance. This was no ordinary king. He was Porus, a ruler known for his valor and strategic acumen. His kingdom stretched far and wide, a testament to his leadership and the loyalty of his people. King Porus, ruler of a vast kingdom, refused to bow to the Macedonian conqueror. His defiance was not just a matter of pride, but a statement of his unwavering commitment to his land and people. He knew that surrendering to Alexander would mean the end of his kingdom's sovereignty and the subjugation of his people.
I will not submit to this invader. My people and my land are worth fighting for, even if it means facing the might of Alexander's army.
He commanded a large army, including war elephants, those monstrous creatures that struck fear into the hearts of even the bravest soldiers. These elephants were not just symbols of power, but also formidable weapons in battle, capable of trampling enemy lines and causing chaos. The two armies met on the banks of the Hydaspes River. This river would soon become the stage for one of the most legendary battles in history, a clash that would test the mettle of both leaders and their armies. The Battle of the Hydaspes was a clash of titans. On one side stood Alexander, the brilliant tactician whose conquests had already reshaped the world. On the other, Porus, a king whose courage and determination were as vast as his kingdom.
We may be outnumbered, But we will not be outmaneuvered. Our strategy and our spirit will be our greatest weapons.
Alexander, outnumbered but not outmaneuvered, used his unparalleled military genius to devise a plan that would turn the tide of battle. He knew that brute force alone would not secure victory against Porus's formidable forces. He used a clever ruse to outflank Porus's forces. By feigning a retreat, he lured Porus into a vulnerable position, allowing his troops to strike with precision and devastating effect. He unleashed a barrage of arrows and javelins upon the Indian ranks. The sky darkened with the sheer number of projectiles, each one aimed to break the resolve of Porus's warriors. The Macedonian phalanx, a wall of shields and spears, advanced with deadly precision. This formation, perfected over years of campaigning, was nearly impenetrable and moved as a single deadly entity. The Indian chariots, initially a formidable threat, were countered by the agility of the Macedonian cavalry. These horsemen, trained for speed and maneuverability, weaved through the battlefield, disrupting the chariots and turning their advantage into a liability. The battle raged for hours, a chaotic whirlwind of steel and fury. Soldiers on both sides fought with unmatched bravery, their cries of determination echoing across the battlefield. The ground was stained with the blood of heroes, and the air was thick with the sounds of clashing weapons and the roars of war elephants. This was a battle that would be remembered for centuries, a testament to the indomitable spirit of both Alexander and Porus. Despite the ferocity of the Indian resistance, Alexander's superior tactics and the discipline of his troops won the day. King Porus, wounded but unbroken, was captured. He stood tall before his conqueror, his bearing as proud as ever.
You fought bravely, King Porus. How do you wish to be treated?
Treat me as a king treats another king.
Alexander, impressed by Porus's courage and his defiance, treated him with respect. He returned Porus's kingdom and even enlarged it. He recognized a worthy adversary and a potential ally. The Battle of the Hydaspes was a turning point. It marked the furthest east Alexander's army would reach. His men, exhausted from years of campaigning, longed to return home. They had witnessed enough bloodshed, they had seen enough of foreign lands.